We are wired for love. It's as strong as a cocaine addiction and even enables us to send our DNA into tomorrow. It is also the least safe investment you'll ever make. If you're thinking about getting into the love game, you better get ready to fight. Forget everything you think you know about love, because love is not what you think it is. While it is true that love is soft and warm and fluffy like puppy ears and hotel pillows, it is also coarse and cruel, like a cracked phone screen or a paper cut on that part of your finger that you literally use for everything. Let's be real here. Love will leave your message on read for days. Love is a trap, a brilliantly beautiful, barbarous trap. And even though we know that, we can't help but walk right into it over and over and over again. And it just so happens that there's a reason for that.
We love love so much because we're wired that way. A 75-year study by Harvard showed that the number one indicator for human happiness was the quality of our relationships. And the quality of our relationships is based on the depth of our ability to love and receive love. And so to me, if we're talking about human happiness, if we're talking about human purpose, if we're talking about the pursuit of a beautiful, joy-giving, fulfilling life, then love and the ability to give and receive love is at the heart of that.
That's the good news. The bad news is the loss of love is a profound type of pain. On the good days, when it doesn't feel like your entire existence has been trampled on by a herd of elephants, sometimes there is room for food. Even breathing feels hard. There's tension in the chest, an aching in the throat, and a wrenching in the gut. Sunlight? Forget about it. It's dark sunglasses and hoodies for me, thank you very much, from now until forever. So I turned to heartbreak expert Dr. Guy Winch for advice.
Getting over heartbreak is not a journey. It's a fight. When your heart is broken, you simply cannot trust what your mind is telling you. Brain studies have shown that the withdrawal of romantic love activates the same mechanisms in our brain that get activated when addicts are withdrawing from substances like cocaine or opioids. You have to recognize that as compelling as the urge is, with every trip down memory lane, every text you send, every second you spend stalking your ex on social media, you are just feeding your addiction, deepening your emotional pain and complicating your recovery. Heartbreak is a master manipulator. The ease with which it gets our mind to do the absolute opposite of what we need in order to recover is remarkable.
I know what that feels like. We are wired for love, and also wired for loss. But if love is like a drug and the heartbreak that comes from losing it is like being in withdrawal from cocaine or opioid addiction, how is that worth the risk? What happened to say no to drugs? Why would I want to say yes to love if it meant that I might have to lock myself in a padded room and sweat out my sadness for 3 days just to get over my love addiction? To find out, I turned to Dr. Helen Fisher for her thoughts.
Thirst and hunger keep you alive today. Romantic love enables you to focus your mating energy and send your DNA into tomorrow. I and my colleagues have put over 100 people into a brain scanner who were madly in love. The first group were people who were happily in love. The second were a group of people who were rejected in love. And the third was a group of people who were in love long-term. So we put these people in the brain scanner. We had them look at a photograph of their sweetheart and also a neutral photograph so we could compare the brain under both circumstances. And we were able to find that everybody begins to have activity in a tiny little factory near the base of the brain called the ventral tegmental area. And that brain region actually makes dopamine and sends dopamine to many brain regions, giving you that focus, the motivation, the obsession, the craving of intense romantic love. And what's interesting to me is that little factory, the VTA, lies right next to the factory that orchestrates thirst and hunger.
Well, that all sounds like a lot. What if I don't really like this love game and would just prefer not to play? I get that evolution has built our brains to be hardwired for both love and loss, but seriously, do I have a choice in the matter, or am I just a pawn to my dopamine and neurotransmitters? What would someone who's written a book about love have to say?
There is no safe investment. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will certainly be wrung and possibly be broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give your heart to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken, it will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. The alternative to tragedy, or at least to the risk of tragedy, is damnation. And the only place outside heaven where you can be perfectly safe from all the dangers and perturbations of love is hell.
Well, that was dark. Let's lighten the mood a little. Depending on what's on your playlist, love can either be all you need, something that you're crazy in, or something that will tear us apart. It is also modern, endless, and true. It feels like every musician has a different perspective on what love is. So I asked an AI to study the lyrics from some of the top love songs of all time, and then create a song for me about love in the age of AI.
I want to know what love is. AI declares, learn from humans with utmost care. From Dolly to Bowie, from Swift to Beyonce, in every lyric, love finds its square. But can you feel the love tonight? AI asks, detecting changes in heartbeats and facial expressions. A digital companion offering support. In the realm of loneliness, it's a human's last resort. In the realm of loneliness, it's a human's last resort. In the realm of loneliness, it's a human's last resort. In the realm of loneliness, it's a human's last resort.
When we give our heart to any relationship, we sign up for the entire spectrum of experience. The joyful bliss of love and the inevitable pain of loss cannot exist without each other. In this way, love is like a metaphorical superposition of the heart, existing in a state of quantum uncertainty until that moment of observation when we are truly seen by another, allowing our hearts, both full of love and completely shattered simultaneously, to finally come into being. But while this might sound like a terribly unsafe investment, we are wired for it. And the happiness that characterizes being able to give and receive love fully is what brings meaning into our lives. Not to mention the possibility of sending our DNA into tomorrow. So the next time you feel that moment of cosmic connection with another, will you walk towards it with an open heart? I will.